Today on Renewal Cast, I have Lauren Rink with me. She wanted to do a school project with me, and I asked her if she would in turn be on Renewal Cast, and she agreed to do that. And she is just such a thoughtful young woman, and I just thought that you would just benefit from the conversation that we have, just hear how she's doing and what's going on in her life. And so just stay tuned and enjoy that.
You are listening to the Renewal Podcast, a weekly podcast that features interviews and discussions and teaching on various biblical and theological subjects. My name is Colt Robinson, and I'm the lead pastor at Bethel Church in rural South Dakota. And we do this because we believe that our minds are to be shaped and renewed by the life-giving and transforming Word of God through the power of the Holy Spirit. So we pray for the next few minutes that as you listen, that you'll just see Jesus more clearly.
Lauren Rink, welcome to Renewal Cast. This is a podcast, and today we're going to explore the life of a college sophomore, right? Mm-hmm. So, Lauren, just at the onset here, just kind of for... I know most people listening to this probably know you, but where are you going to college?
So I go to Taylor University. It's in Oakland, Indiana. It's like an hour and 20 minutes north of Indianapolis. Okay. But not many people know about it. So
yeah, I've actually really enjoyed some of the things on social media. I see. I follow them on social media, Taylor University, and watch some of their chapel videos, and it's pretty looks like a pretty good school to me. So I'm excited to hear a little bit more from your perspective. So by the time we're done here, I just want to tell you the goal of what we're doing here. So in the next few minutes, what we want to do is we want to have a picture of a college girl that is a sophomore that is going to a Christian university, what's happening in their life. We want all the ins and outs. So we want to know all about what that looks like, because most people don't know what that looks like. Lauren, let's just go back to your childhood.
Okay.
And maybe even before that, just tell us a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about where you grew up. And where you went to school and how that affected you. And
so I was the oldest, the first child in my family to go to school. There was like 3 options in Huron, I think, at that time. And my parents were trying to make a decision on where to send me. And there's a lot of things that went into that, obviously, financially and education-wise. But they ended up deciding to send me to James Valley Christian on the north side of town, which is really when I was like 3 years old and they chose to send me to a Christian private school. That set the stage for my entire life. Like where I'm at now is all kind of defined by that one decision that my parents made. So I went to James Valley for 15 years, preschool through senior year, and yeah, it changed my life. I started going to church with some friends when I was in 3rd grade. And I would say like truly accepted Christ summer of my 8th grade year. And as an 8th grader, didn't really know, like nothing in my life really changed. I didn't have anything that I needed to really give up in my life necessarily. But there were a lot of people and mentors and small groups that came and went and taught me a lot about what it means to serve the Lord daily, no matter where you're at. And that really just impacted my heart and gave me a heart that wanted to do nothing except for walk towards the Lord's will for my life. And there was a lot of ups and downs through high school that me wanting to do other things, like go to a public school close to home and study medicine or politics, or I pretty much wanted to do it all at one point. But yeah, a lot of things in my life have just led me to where I am now. I have 3 younger siblings, and I have always enjoyed being the oldest and getting to talk to them and teach them what I know and spend time with them. But yeah, that's kind of a really broad overview of my high school and primary school.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna pry just a little bit, just based on some of the things that you said there. So your parents sent you to a Christian high school, and a lot of times when we think about parents that send their kids to a Christian school, it's because they're Christian people and they're sold out on Christian education, and they think that ought to be the way it should be. But that's not the case in your situation, was it?
No, not at all. That's probably the key point in my testimony. It was when I was 3 years old. I'm assuming just because they knew that it was going to be more academically challenging and prepare me better for life, they chose to send me to private school. They'd heard really good things about it. The school was really new in that location and chose to send me there. I remember like all my friends going to church with their families, or like their parents were like the source of why, like their parents prayed the prayer with them to have them accept their heart and Jesus into their hearts when they were like 5. And I never had that. And I always wondered if that, like, there was something wrong with me or if I was in the wrong place. But looking back on that time in my life, it's a huge testament to how the Lord like sought me out from the time I was born.
Yeah. I would say the hand of God was huge in that. So when did you start attending church with your friends?
3rd or 4th grade. I think it was 4th grade. I started going with the Blum family. Okay. To Bethesda.
Okay.
In Huron. Yep.
So what did you think about church? Do you kind of remember some of those experiences? And
yeah, definitely. It was, for me, just a social event mostly when I was younger, and I enjoyed the music and being with my friends, and I always had a pretty positive view of church because I was choosing to be there.
Right.
Every day that I went, like I was given the option. But definitely, as I don't know how old 4th graders are, like 8, 9, and I didn't really know what it was or like what my faith was. I was just believing it because that's what I learned at school, I guess.
So how did you start figuring that out? That line between this is what I'm taught at school, this is what they tell me I ought to believe, and this is what I believe. Yeah.
Kind of goes back to when in 8th grade when I chose to commit my life to Christ. I feel like there needs to be a better way to say that. Sounds kind of cliche, but it was at Barn Bible Camp, and the speaker, his topic was something along the lines of like why are you believing what you believe, or like what led you to believe or to be where you are now, and is this like truly challenging the students that were there to consider if believing in Jesus was actually something that they wanted to do, or if it was just something that they had always been told that they needed to do. And I just remember like sobbing on the ground, just in the fact that like I didn't know what my faith was or why I believed it or where it came from, but I like wanted it so badly. So that was a big turning point. And then going away from that, I wouldn't say a lot necessarily changed in my life. I wasn't really stuck in any major sin or anything. It was just kind of like a more constant choice to spend time in the Word each day and commit my life to living that way. But I never had that like, oh, I committed my life to Christ and my life was just turned around moment, I guess. But definitely that summer, or maybe it was winter camp at Barn Bible Camp, changed the way that I viewed my spiritual life.
And how did your parents respond to that? I mean, did you tell them right away, or?
Yeah, I mean, they knew that I was like going to church and stuff, and what I believed, and they were always really supportive of it. Never really said much, actually, that I remember. I don't know necessarily. I don't think that their response was anything that stood out to me. It was just normal.
Yeah. And I mean, your parents have always been, as far as I know, very supportive of James Valley Christian School as far as
Yes.
volunteering and helping. And I remember probably one of the first years I was at James Valley, I went with Jim Friesen, and I don't even remember what we were doing. I think there was some kind of cabinets or something that your dad was helping paint them. And, so we went to go see I met your dad then, and he was helping do something. I remember that. And then we were hauling these cabinets or whatever for the elementary library or something back to the school, and I just always remember that. I mean, your parents were always very willing to help and were very supportive of the school, which was probably, really helped as far as.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, my parents have always been like a good example of servant leadership to me. They always are willing to volunteer their gifts or their talents. And that definitely impacted the way that I viewed volunteering my time. But yeah, I wouldn't say that my spiritual life and like my accepting Christ was any shock to them, but it didn't change anything either.
Yeah. So kind of transition into high school.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your biggest memories in high school? Some of the biggest things that had some of the biggest things in your life, some of the biggest things that happened that had the most profound impact on your life?
Yeah, I would say at end of my high school, like end of junior year and senior year, brought the most like growth and change in my life. Just the having to make decisions about my future and such. And there was also like some stuff going on in my family at that time that was affecting me and them pretty heavily. But yeah, I mean, being in a D group, like a discipleship group at the school, and then eventually leading one my senior year was something that changed the way that I viewed my faith and like having relationships that push you closer to your faith intentionally and not just like friends who are just friends, but groups that actually pushed me towards Christ intentionally with structure. That was something that I always really loved. And then leading a D group my senior year just instilled in my heart so deeply the love for leading discussion for younger, like girls that are younger than me, and helping them come to terms with what they believe and why they believe it. And then, yeah, deciding what I wanted to do with the rest of my life was a huge ordeal, but became really easy. I got baptized with my mom. She decided to commit her life to Christ September of my senior year, or maybe it was end of September, beginning of October. I'm not really sure. I was trying to decide where I wanted to go to school. And so the time to get baptized was like an evening on a Sunday, I believe. And we were at Lake Byron, and it was awesome. It was like the weather was beautiful, and we shared our testimonies, and it was such a good experience. And then we went home for 10 minutes, showered, and drove 16 hours through the night with my grandma to come to Taylor University here.
I remember.
And we made it like 20 minutes late to 10 o'clock chapel. So that probably 24 hours was a very pivotal experience for me, because I was so stoked that all of my prayers for my mom had like finally come together, and like the Lord had answered them, and I got to be baptized with her. And then I came to a school that I loved and like decided to go here. And yeah, I would say just all of that is probably the best memory of my high school experience.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about this before we were recording, but just that experience of the baptism and stuff, that was,
yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite memories of being a pastor is there's not many times that things like that happen. You get to baptize the daughter and the mom at the same time, and just seeing your face, and I just remember you telling me that, this is just a huge, this was just a huge answer to prayer. And so I know there was a lot of people that have been praying, and a lot of people that were involved in the life of your mom and you. And like you said, I mean, God's hand was just evident through it all. And
for sure.
So you said that the process of choosing what you wanted to do, and I kind of remember something about in the summers, weren't you a page in Peer or something?
Yeah. I paged during the legislative session, which was in the spring semester of school, and then I went to Girls State right before my senior year, and then went to Girls Nation a month after Girls State, which was awesome experience and accomplishment. And I was kind of like, well, if I somehow got here, like, I did not think I was deserving to be at Girls Nation, or I didn't know how I got there, but I was like, well, if this is like where God put me, then he must be calling me to politics. And then I got there, and I learned that very quickly that I hate arguing about that type of, and I would struggle to share my viewpoint on a lot of things, just because I didn't necessarily, I was like 16. I didn't really know or have good information for why I believed that abortion was wrong, or why I believed that gay marriage was wrong, or I just knew that was what I believed. And I didn't, when girls would ask, like, why are you voting this way? I could never come up with a good answer. So that turned me away from politics very quickly. And I would say, like, now that I'm at college and looking to the future, it's something I could see myself involved in more so. But yeah, I wanted to do a lot of different things. I wanted to be a doctor at one point. I wanted to be a politician. You name it, I probably wanted to do it.
Okay. So that answered my question about politics. So you did say you kind of see yourself maybe more doing that now, though, that you're in school. But in school, you're also largely involved in journalism, right? Am I correct on this?
Yeah, I'm involved in a lot of things here.
Well, start with journalism. I mean, don't you work in a paper, at the school paper or something?
I do. I am an editor for the Life and Times page of our newspaper here. So it's a 2-page spread, and every week I have to plan what's going on and delegate the work. And I have staff writers under me who I can assign stories to. So I'm in charge of creating content for each week's paper. And then on Thursday nights, we get together and produce that paper, which is awesome. And I love the group that I'm involved in, the friends that I've made through it. I do not foresee myself pursuing any kind of journalism career, but it's a super fun experience, and I love every part of it in college.
Can we find that paper online?
You can. It's I think it's theechonews.com.
Okay.
I can send you a link to it.
Sure. We'll put it in the show notes. Yep.
You can just look up Taylor University newspaper.
Okay. Well, yeah, very cool. So what are some of the stories that you write about? I mean, what are some newsworthy things in college life?
There's a lot of things that we write about. Our page is more Life and Times. It has a very vague definition, and we're still attempting to define what it truly means. But our page covers a lot of student life events or events around campus or in the surrounding community that students can attend. Or then if there's things that go on campus, like cookouts or tournaments that students organize, we'll cover that kind of stuff. I wrote a story about a campus-wide volunteer project that a bunch of students get involved in. It varies week to week. I make a crossword puzzle every single week for it. Yeah, our page is very student life oriented though, so lots of recipes and tips for surviving the winter, and it's very fun, feature minded, and not very news.
Right. So you it's kind of a creative outlet of being creative on what.
Yeah, it's read. So fun. I enjoy my page. I would not want to do news or sports or anything else.
Right. Yeah, I guess that would be I would not like that either. Okay, so you said that you were involved in some other activities. What else could you do in school?
Yeah. So this year, I'm actually editor-in-chief of the yearbook.
Okay.
Yeah, I last semester hired people for that and meet with them every week. So we've created a design model, and I made a ladder or like a document that defines like what will be on every page, and I'm in charge of organizing basically the entire yearbook that will be published at the end of this year. So that's very exciting and awesome experience for me. I don't feel equipped for it necessarily, but I'm learning very, very quickly how to do things the right way. Yeah, yearbook takes a lot of my time. Newspaper, I actually lead or teach a freshman orientation class.
Okay.
So I have 17 freshmen that I teach a 50-minute class to every Tuesday and Thursday with another girl. We co-lead, and so they have reading that they have to do for a larger lecture style class, and then we facilitate discussion about the reading and games and fun activities for them to engage with the material each week. So yeah, there's a massive freshman foundations class that goes on campus that covers our relationship with God and our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with the world, and our relationship with others. So we get to discuss that with freshman students every week. So we put about 4 or 5 hours a week into preparing for that. But also something I love doing and I'm very passionate about. And then I work about 10 hours a week at the front desk in my residence hall, which is a great job. I can do it in my pajamas. And yeah, I'm taking 19 credits. So
so you're busy.
Yeah, I'm a very busy gal, but it's good.
Yeah, it's good to be busy. So are these paid positions? The yearbook, and I mean, are they just kind of is that a work study thing, or is it? Yeah,
newspaper pays not enough to make it worth it. I think I get $100 a semester or something, which is nothing. I do that because I love it. Right. Yearbook will pay me, and I'm on scholarship for doing yearbook, so that pays pretty well just because of my position and whatnot, but I will get paid for that at the end of the semester as well. It's stipend, not hourly. And then I get paid for 3 hours a week for my student teaching job, and then minimum wage for my hours at the front desk.
Okay. Yeah, at least there's some incentive there.
Yeah.
Doing all that.
For sure. I definitely don't do it for the money, but
right.
There is money involved.
How big a school is Taylor University?
It's just over 2,000 this year, I think.
Okay. So that's pretty good size.
Yeah, it's a nice size. I like it.
Is it affiliated with any denomination or?
No, it's actually not. It used to be a female Baptist college.
Okay.
A long time ago, but it's no longer affiliated with any denomination.
Is it, you said a female Baptist college?
Yeah, it used to be an all-girls Baptist school.
But it's not all girls anymore?
No. Nope.
Okay. So what kind of classes are you taking? 19 credits. It's a lot of credits.
Yeah. I am taking a leadership class for the class that I'm taking. And then I'm taking Spanish 101, which is not going very well for me thus far.
Did you take Spanish in high school?
Oh, nope.
Oh, you didn't have to? Really?
No, I didn't have to. I wish I would have.
Yeah, I didn't take it in high school either. I don't know any Spanish. So
yeah. But that class is 4 credits, and it's a lot to learn quickly. But I'm taking intro to media writing and cases and campaigns, communication writing essentials, Oh, what else? There's so many. I feel like, I'm taking like a Fit for Life class that we have to take here, and biblical literature is another class that we all take. So I think that might be all of them.
So what is the biblical literature class? What is that like?
So yeah, our school has each year that you're here, or there's 4 classes that you have to take that are like your spiritual engagement or scriptural engagement. So there's Biblit 1, which is Old Testament. Biblit 2 is New Testament. And then you take historic Christian belief and contemporary Christian belief. So Biblit 2 is an Old Testament.
Okay.
Overview, or a New Testament. It's New Testament. So sorry. Biblit 1 that I took last year was Old Testament. So that was very difficult. But yeah. It's a really well done class. I appreciate the way that Taylor does it. Yeah.
Okay. So what about church? Where do you go to church? Do you have church on campus?
Yeah.
I mean, how do they?
Taylor doesn't have an on-campus church because they want students to get involved in community churches, which I really think is smart and appreciate. I have been attending since last December a church called Northview. It's in Anderson. Well, the main campus is in Carmel by Indianapolis. And then there's a offshoot campus that's in Anderson. And I love it. I take a group of 4 freshmen this year every week and have enjoyed getting them excited about it. And I very much enjoy the church that I go to here a lot. It's great. It's 50 minutes away though. So that's
yeah. So what are some things that you enjoy about the church? I mean, what's the big draw for you?
Yeah, it does. It's like pretty big church, defined mega church, but I think it does being a big church very well, and it's very, I don't know how to describe this. It's very open in its intentions. So there's you can get information on where every dollar of tithe money goes, where all of their income goes. And that's just logistical. They're very open about what they want to do with each message. Right now, they're actually walking the whole church through this new part of their they have a getting started plan for people who visit the church for the first time, which is they want them to start attending regularly. They want them to get involved in a small group, and they want them to volunteer somehow in the church, or just get involved. And now they're adding in a scriptural growth or a spiritual growth plan, which is a book actually that I have that pushes Christians to have a growth plan of sorts of how they are going to be moving forward in their faith and areas that they need to improve, or so it just this, we're in a 7-week series or 6-week series that is explaining to us some of the different ways that we may be lacking or need to grow. And then on the last day of the series, we are encouraged to pick an area that we want to grow and then come up with a quantitative achievable goal for how we're going to take steps towards that in the future. And I have loved it, every second of it. I think it's very scripturally sound, and they back everything that they do up very well with research and scripture, and are just very open about their goals and the things that they've done wrong in the past and how they want to go forward and improve the way that they do church. Sorry, that was very long-winded.
That's great. I think the one thing that I got from that is that you really do go to church. Sometimes you're worried about college kids, that if they're going to go to church or if they're going to be involved somewhere, but you're going to church that's 50 miles away and you're involved. That's commendable. And you proved your point. I have a couple more questions for you. One, just kind of backing up a little bit. You were baptized at Bethel Church. We talked a little bit about that. Why did you start coming out to Bethel? I've always kind of wondered that. There was not a lot of not a lot of girls out here. Certainly in town there was a lot more.
That's a
people.
That's a good question. I remember my siblings started going with the Hofers.
Okay.
When I was still kind of going to Bethesda a little bit, they would go. And then I think it had to do actually with the Christmas program.
Okay.
I'd been asked if I wanted to be in it by Mary and a few people, and I was like, no, I don't. And then got convinced by the people in the youth group there and my mom and whatever to do it because I'd be with my siblings. And I don't honestly remember the whole timeline of when I actually started attending, but it was where my siblings wanted to go, and it provided an opportunity for me to drive them to church where they could also see their friends. And so I jumped on the opportunity to take my siblings with me to church instead of continuing to go alone, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that would be my answer.
That's a good answer. Back to college. What advice would you give? I mean, I'm sure there's people that are going to listen to this that are in college. There's people that, young people probably that are thinking about going to college. They're kind of in some of that place where you are thinking about what they want to do in their future. And do you have that figured out, what you want to do in your future, by the way?
No, I don't. I definitely don't. I think I have very strong motivations now, and I have a lot of direction as to what my goals are. I'm actually hoping to graduate after next year. So after my junior year, just because it's possible for me, and I think it would be worth it financially.
What are you going to graduate in? What's your degree going to be in?
Yeah, my current degree is public relations and marketing.
Okay.
I might just narrow that down to public relations for the sake of being less, not spreading myself too thin, I guess. So that's what my major would be in, and I want to graduate after next year, which I think is very doable at this point.
Sure.
Advice for a college student, I would say probably that you don't need to know exactly what you want or what you're doing. I think there's a lot of pressure from home or from, especially before you leave from college, with people being like, what are you doing? Where are you going? What do you want to do with that major that you've chosen when you're 17? I came into school as a Christian ministries major and thought that I wanted to go into full-time vocational ministry, and learned very quickly that I am not good at it at all, and that it's not what I want to do. And I've really struggled with that sense of, I told everybody at home that this is what I was going to do, and I can't change this now.
Sure.
But also, is God going to accept me if I'm not studying ministry, or can I do something else and still do God's will? And I learned that I definitely can, and am much better suited for what I'm studying now, and actually very passionate about it, as opposed to the confliction I felt when I was studying Christian ministries. Yeah, I would just encourage people at college or getting ready to go to college to take their time figuring out what they want, because there's nothing worse than wasting a semester or two in the wrong area before you learn. And there's no need to really know what you want. I would say if you know that you want to go to college, do that, and you can figure the rest of it out as you go. I mean, I don't want people to go to school and waste their education and not get a degree that they're going to use, but just the idea of me not knowing what I wanted to do for an extended period of time has shown me that it really didn't matter. And taking that time away from a set plan taught me a lot about how my own plan is very not what God's plan is. Yeah, I guess that, and just taking care of yourself mentally and spiritually and physically in college, because that can be really difficult. Yeah,
I agree with you on your advice there. I mean, I think looking back at my own story there, I felt a lot of pressure to figure out what I wanted to do, to go do something, and it was kind of like I just kept thinking about it, and I got to figure this out. And you just don't know. And so you just go to school to do something. And I mean,
right.
I went to school to start off kind of in the medical field, and figured out I didn't really care for blood. I didn't want to be around that stuff. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to, that's so much different than watching a gory movie. And gory movies didn't bother me. So I thought blood in those conversations wouldn't, but they did. So I wasn't cut out for it, so then you're kind of back to square one.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Lauren, this is your chance to tell the world anything. Is there anything else you want to tell the world? What about somebody that's getting ready to choose a school? And they're trying to decide Christian school, non-Christian school. Do you have any advice there?
Yeah, we talk about this a lot on Taylor's campus, actually. We get to house prospective students that are looking at Taylor in our dorm room. So I just had a girl in here the other day who was her competing school with Taylor was, I think, Indiana University, which is a massive public school. And I would encourage anybody who wants to pursue their faith very actively to go to a Christian school. I obviously don't know what public school is like. And I have a lot of friends that go to SDSU and,
right.
Other large public schools, and can see how they struggle in their faith and also struggle to get involved in even just new friendships or new activities, even that don't pertain to their Christian walk. I will always be a huge advocate for a Christian college education, just because I think that learning about what I want to do with my future, in public relations, learning how to communicate with and handle issues from a biblically based, ethically very solid standpoint is something that I couldn't replace at a different school that didn't teach me scripture along with how to write a good research project. I appreciate that this school integrates faith with learning in every aspect so that I can associate every part of what I do day to day as a form of ministry and a form of growing in my faith, instead of just working to work or, getting a degree just to go into the work field and make money. But instead it's this is something that you need to learn how to do. And this is why it's something that will be really awesome to learn, and how you can use it in the future to further God's kingdom. Let's learn how to do it, I guess. And there's just such a good community. Specifically at Taylor, I think it's going to depend on the Christian school, but the area I live, or the wing I live on, and the things I'm involved in have brought me the greatest friends and people and connections that I could ever ask for or ever imagined. But yeah. I'm a big advocate for a Christian college education.
Yeah, I think you made two really good points there, at least. The one that, even if you're going into marketing, just that right. Conversation about how to, your faith intersects with that. And then the friends. That's just huge too. The friends that you make in college have a tremendous impact on your life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm very thankful for the girls and the guys that I've met here, just the friends that I've made that care more about me than what I'm doing on the weekends or whatever, but actually want to hear how I'm doing spiritually and seek me out intentionally. I've grown so much in the way that I view friendships and relationships through having just really solid ones here. The girls next door are awesome, and I could never replace that or replicate that outside of where I live right now.
Well, anything else, Lauren? I didn't ask. I just want you to know that I couldn't be more proud of you and just what you're doing in the school that you've chosen to go to, and the way that you're involved there, and just the way that you're just a young woman that her faith just you see you and all you're involved in, and you see the importance of your faith to you, and having this conversation with you just showed that. So we're very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. Miss you here, and I know a lot of other people do too. And just want to thank you for taking the 45 minutes and talking to me after we got done with your 20-minute project. So I got the better end of the deal here. So
No, I'm happy with it. Thank you so much. I miss you guys a ton. It's actually weird to come away from Bethel and back to just such a different life that I have here at Taylor than I do at home. But
yeah,
I'll be back for Thanksgiving. So hopefully I'll see everybody then.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything we can ever do for you, if I can do anything for you, again, you just let me know and be more than happy to help out.
Yeah,
so.
I will definitely do that. I love all the letters and notes and texts that I get from people. So those are always really-
All right. Thanks, Lauren.
Yes. Thank you so much.
If you would like to learn more about the Renewal Podcast or find past episodes, check us out on the web at renewalcast.com or visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/renewalcast. If you would like to learn more about Bethel Church, find other resources there, please visit the church website at bethelmbchurch.org or connect with us there on Facebook at facebook.com/BethelMBChurch. Now, Bethel Church exists to bring glory to God by promoting the joyful worship of Jesus Christ, both in our context and to the ends of the earth.